After 2 years of no Great British Beer Festival, it's just fantastic to see it all back again.
Great British Beer Festival is an iconic event.
Quite popular are the really old good beer guides.
The campaign for Real Ale has recently adopted a new definition of what it defines as real cider, and that's simply put, fresh pressed cider, not from concentrate.
It's great that Great British Beer Festival is back at Olympia again to encourage people to come discover what they've been missing for the last couple of years. We saw pubs closed in the UK for the first time in hundreds of years. That impacted on the brewers that supported them, and obviously it impacted us as an organisation as well, because we're all about sociability, we're all about going to pubs and encouraging people to drink beer. And for a year or so people were sat at their homes on their sofas getting everything delivered to them.
So we've been very lucky in the southwest of Cornwall, where people have been going on holiday. So although beer volumes were back last year to the same levels of pre-pandemic, this year it's a little bit slower, but it is, beer volumes are doing well.
I'm a brewer from the Isle of Man. We're a small island in the middle of the Irish Sea, and I've been brewing for about 37 years. During lockdown, Guernsey and the Isle of Man, we were the only two places in the British Isles that were COVID-free, and we had our own travel corridor. So we had all these hundreds of people and thousands coming from Guernsey, likewise loads of Manx people going to Guernsey, so we had our own little tourist destinations. But I'm drinking their beer. It's a lovely beer by Liberation Brewery.
So while people are at home, they were still buying beers and they're drinking them at home, but it tended to be the bigger brands, the ones that have the access to supermarkets and have the shelf space. So a lot of independent brewers really found themselves struggling. A lot of independent brewers who were devoted to cask beer, that's beer that's served in pubs, found it was very difficult to scale up and get the technology to can or bottle, because they may not have done that before. Some managed it, some didn't. So again, we've seen some closures, we've seen some people really struggling, and I don't think pubs or breweries have yet recovered from the pandemic. They're still suffering with the debt they racked up, and they're still suffering with lower customer numbers who've got out the habit of coming out and having a pint of beer.
We're all trying to fight the trend of cask being in decline as regional brewers. It's all about the cellar training and looking after cask beer. People are obviously feeling the pinch of all the energy prices and perhaps not going out to the pub as much, and drinking at home a bit more.
I think what we've seen in pubs though is they have reduced the number of beers they may be offering, because they're worried that they're going to be closed again. They'll have to pour away beer, which was what we saw at the start of the pandemic. So maybe there's a lack of choice for consumers, and we really hope that's going to be changed and that pubs will start stocking as big a range as possible to give everyone that great experience. So what we're trying to do now is persuade them to come back to the pub and to come out and support local breweries again.
What we're trying to do here at the Great British Beer Festival is promote cask and showcase the wonderful cask beers. Cans and bottles did jump up significantly during the pandemic when people were drinking at home, and those levels have actually stayed quite high and quite strong. So obviously trying to push cask back into its place is proving to be the challenge at the moment.
Real cider and perry is for everyone.
Because of the international surplus of such apples, a whole range of new innovative ciders are being made. But just like the influence of hops in brewing, what comes out of the apples influences the tastes and the different styles of cider. Now across the world, cider is the fastest growing drink sector. But we also have cider producers in India, in China, in Japan, and even in Latin America.
I think it's a trend. It's started getting there because most people don't know what cider is at the beginning. And since the entire craft beer scene is getting better and better, actually we are trying to introduce what's the difference between beer and cider and how people drink it.
We want to celebrate a very simple drink that is now being made in a wealth of different ways. Now is probably the most fascinating time to be a cider drinker. There are now better quality ciders being produced than ever since the 17th century. Cider's having a renaissance. That point 15 years ago where craft beer just began to take off and create an expansion of a new sector of beer, that's where cider is now, and it's exciting times for cider.
It's a CAMRA brewery shop. It's
memorabilia from breweries and pubs. Most of it is second hand and has been donated by CAMRA members and elsewhere. We sell it to raise funds for the campaign. We've had donations coming in all through lockdown, and quite popular are the really old good beer guides. Well, we get visitors from all over the world, and various people like to take gifts back.
We need to all work together to make sure that we are, promoting cask and the wonderful, fresh and natural flavours that come from cask. But we have to work together as an industry.
Tastes are always changing. There are always trends in brewing. I'd like to think that's the beauty of beer. It can accommodate everything, and it adapts, and it just moves with the times.
Drinkers are looking more and more for the provenance of the drinks that they consume.
You've got to be optimistic, haven't you? So many pubs survived lockdown, so many breweries survived lockdown. They did incredibly well. We've still got people joining the campaign. So I think every reason to be optimistic and every reason to raise a beer.